Hello everyone, my name is Jim Shear. I'm the author of the workbook you're using in your music class, Jazz Basics. And I am going to introduce myself here for the last time. Hopefully you've just watched this Get Started video and you're over here working through the modules. So what I'm creating for you now is an overview for Chapter 1 in the modules. Now this one will be just a little longer than all the other overview videos to help you get started. You're working through the quiz, the active listening responses, Chapter 1 homework. And when you see your version of this web page, there'll be a Get Started video right here. Chapter 1 introduces the basic elements of jazz. Now, we need you to learn a few basic music terms. We need you to learn to count like a musician. But beyond that, we're not going to ask you to learn any specialized music. You don't have to learn to read music. You just have to count to 4, sometimes to 16, never more than 32. Super easy, right? So we've got some basic terminology where we talk about improvisation and embellishment. We talk about basic music building blocks, consonants and dissonance. Spend a lot of time with those, make sure you understand them. We teach you the 3 basic building block chords, tonic, dominant, subdominant. And then again, we teach you basic counting strategies, and we show you the St. Louis Blues and a few other tunes. And then you do have in the active listening responses and also again on the home page this overview active listening podcast. This is actually the first couple of lectures we do in the brick and mortar classes. So this is me taking you through a bunch of different versions of the tune Summertime. Hi, I'm Jim Shear, blah, blah, blah. And you can scroll through this. You can stop anywhere you want, go back and forth. There's a lot of active listening exercises throughout this audio podcast. You're going to have a lot of assignments for it in Chapter 1, but you can refer back to it at any time, as you will see throughout these modules in various places. It'll refer you back to that active listening. Once you get through the basic terminology, we've got some listening guides for you for the blues. You'll see these same tunes again in Chapter 2. We'll get more specific about the blues in Chapter 2, but this is a place to start counting and listening. Now, the way this book is set up, I'm using right now the HTML book that is posted on the Kendall Hunt website. We encourage all fully online class students to use the HTML version, but if for some reason you have a print version of the book, of course these listening guides are there, but they're not active. The HTML, they're active Spotify links. Press play, and it plays. If you have Spotify open and you of course have legal access, which is really, really cool. Now, if for some reason you are using a print version of the book, again, let me go back home. You do have all of the Spotify playlist right here. Click on that, it downloads. Click on the little preview tool and it opens. You've got a link to Spotify, but you also link to every one of the individual chapter playlists. So you can click on any one of those and up pops the Spotify playlist, and you can listen to it there as well. But honestly, it's easiest right here in the book. Just go right through them. There's all these wonderful Spotify links embedded into the book. Super easy. Again, fast forward, play wherever you want. You can make it louder and softer. It's a great tool. You can open a new Spotify page, anything you want to do. But it's time coded. You see the time code going here, and here's the time code right here. You can follow along with all of these listening guides. And this is a pretty simple one. They get quite complex the deeper you go. Talk about some other song forms, show you some basic rhythms. Again, a lot of this is also included in Chapter 2. Because we're going to cover that in more detail. And then we get here, a few thoughts on the art of active listening. This is the critical part of Chapter 1. This right here is where you want to spend a lot of your time. The active listening podcast I just showed you also very useful for starting to listen differently. We're passive listeners now in this world at this time and place, and we need to fix that. We need to become more active listeners and listen deeper into the band and really take in the music. This is a good way to get you started for that. And then you end the section with an article. This was actually a lecture. It was later turned into an article. It ends kind of weird because he went off talking about other things at the end. But Dr. Billy Taylor, brilliant jazz pianist, you'll hear him play several times over the course of the semester, became a real champion for music education in jazz, and he felt very strongly about jazz as America's classical music. If you look at our Music 101 class here at New Mexico State, or many colleges have music appreciation classes, they talk about basically European classical music. And even when it's in America, it's still essentially a European tradition to a large extent. Billy Taylor's argument is that's what Europe brought to the world. This is what America brought to the world. Jazz. Jazz becomes America's artistic statement. It is America's classical music. And of course, everything that comes from jazz, rock and roll, soul music, hip hop, rhythm and blues, everything we're doing today with pop music, it's all derived from elements of jazz, the blues, other forms of popular music. So this is his long article there. And then, of course, you do have the study guides, which are posted right at the end here. You're going to take some essay questions from there for various other things. And you do have right here at the top active links to all of those. And you just click on that and it'll open the study guide for you. We don't answer these questions at New Mexico State. If you're at another university, you might be using these. We actually do a different version of this on Canvas at NMSU. But you are going to need these last essay questions. In every chapter, we're going to ask for one or both of these essay questions. So you'll want to find these because you're going to need to use them in your homework assignments online. So that's about it for chapter 1. Again, the rest of the introductions will be much shorter.